Hello and welcome back to the most requested video on my channel. Everyone wants to see more. They're like, Trish, we need to hear more of your thoughts on the 2004 show Lost. So that's what this is here. Lost TV show podcast. It is my first time watching. I'm currently on season 3, episode 3. It is your second time watching?
Yeah, and by the way, everyone kept stopping me on the street and they said, Naveen, you have to go on this new podcast.
Oh, right. My special guest. Sorry, I didn't even introduce you. You guys, I got Naveen Andrews. We did it. Our first one went so viral. People loved it so much. Naveen Andrews, who's probably going to be up for an Emmy this year for the Dropout star of Lost, Saeed, is here with us. He never talks about Lost, so this is very exclusive.
Yeah, because I learned so much about the show from her podcast because I didn't really know what was going on it. So,
Naveen, your accent sounds so much like my husband's. It's crazy. Are you from Israel?
well, I think it's the combination of the Middle East and living in LA.
It's like a transatlantic accent except for the Middle East.
Once you combine the two, then you get this like vague
Wow.
Iraqi, LA
Or
accent
Indian, yeah.
at times.
Because Saeed is Iraqi. Naveen, is of Indian. He's from London, but he's Indian.
Yeah, but I feel more London than India,
Yeah. More LA.
At this point, for sure. Yes.
Wow.
Santa Monica, to be specific.
Are you currently single?
Yes and no.
I heard you like older women.
Sometimes it just happens,
I do have a mom come out. I would like you. This is what we do in our role play. Thank you, by the way. This is actually my husband, if you didn't know. This is actually my husband, Moses.
Oh,
Or did you want to do the whole podcast? Maybe you could be Saeed. You want to go into character as Saeed now?
well, I look like Saeed, so I thought that's who I am.
Oh my God, is that a bug?
I just killed a spider.
Was that a bug?
It was a spider.
No.
Yes. Baby, we're on an island. What do you
Oh
expect?
my God. Wait, are you back? Saeed, you just called me babe, but then you said run. Let's hear your best Saeed impersonation. We just did ASMR. We're going to get into season 1, the rest of season 1, but we just did an ASMR where we did Lost roleplay. I'm supposed to be Hurley, if you guys couldn't tell. I think they fit us. I feel like I'm more Hurley. He's a lottery ticket winner. He has a food problem, which we got into in season 3 or 2 or something like that. And you're very much like Saeed because you are ex-military.
Yeah, from military to LA.
But you weren't that intense.
Mine was pretty intense.
Not like Saeed, though, with the torturing.
Well, I didn't torture people, but I feel like I was tortured.
Being in the military. No,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds awful. Who do you relate to
Military
the
stuff.
most on Lost, though, for real? I know I had you dress up as Saeed because that's my favorite. Obviously, he's a good sport. You've dressed up as so many of my crushes. You've been Andrew Garfield and Jim Baker. You've been Spider-Man, Gerard Way.
I've
Burt
been pretty
Reynolds.
much. Oh, I like Burt
Yeah,
Reynolds. That was fun.
You're always my crushes. So thank you for this. Kind of fits you though. I feel like this tank top specifically matches this tank top right here. And
Well,
you
I've
have
definitely had pictures where this is exactly how I looked.
and this is like the chest area. Yeah, he's always like, "Oh, I have those." But no, if you're any character cuz I feel like you want to be like a Jack or something. Not that you're a medical doctor, but
No, I would probably be like John Locke. Like the more spiritual side.
yeah, I could see that. But he's a little what's the word? He's never on the
Well,
money. He's always off.
Yeah,
Like
but
you're always
John
like
Locke on the island, not off the island. You know what I mean? Like he's two different people before and after.
No, but on the island, he's dumb too. He's like, oh, should I listen to you? Like, he's always like putting people in danger, getting people killed.
But he's also the only one that talks to the island and listens to the island. It's like Moses talking to God, and then everyone follows him, and then it's like, I put the commandments. What are you guys doing? He breaks the commandments, and he goes back again. And you know what I mean? There's this back and forward. But
I think you're more Saeed because you're romantic. You're rough when you need to be. You figure things out for everyone. You're calm. Like when he found out that there was like a traitor in season 3, like he was like calm. He knew it. He called it before anyone. He was calm. You're romantic. You would build me a little tent and take me on a walk on the beach. And also ex-military that. And also he's
So
spiritual. He prays.
I think the reality is like, I am Saeed on the island that wants to be more John Locke. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like,
Because Saeed
yeah.
didn't choose his past and present.
Right.
He feels like, he was in the military, not by choice. It's usually not by choice. He has skills that he didn't choose to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You also kind of look like the Zohan right now when at the beginning when he has the hair. It's kind of everything.
the
Who do
hair
you think I am?
in the show
Yeah.
right now.
No, just me if I was on the island.
Well, at the beginning when I saw Shannon, I thought he would be Shannon.
Because of what she done, not the way she looks, but because she just kind of hangs out.
Well, you were closer to her in looks than Hurley, but you would be like, yeah, you'd be like, let me just
No.
suntan.
First of all, I'm more
Let
Hurley
me
looks.
just suntan. Wait until they rescue us.
Yeah.
Let's not do too much.
I said that
right
in my
now.
what I got for my birthday video. I said I'm more of a Shannon. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, right." Like you're, and I'm not saying that I'm like skinny and pretty like her. I'm saying I would just kind of sit around.
But that's the only difference is like maybe she's skinnier, but at the same time you are like the blonde, blue-eyed, white girl. So
Okay, thank you.
I think for people like us from Iraq, you are
Oh my
more of a
God.
Shannon that you would be Hurley.
I feel more Hurley. I'm working at Fried Chicken, getting that lottery. I feel like I'm bad luck to everyone. I think I'm more of a Scott,
Scott?
not Steve Scott.
Scott who?
Didn't you remember the one that died and everyone's like, "That's
Everyone
Steve,"
keeps-
and they're like, "No, that's Scott." The one that nobody remembers.
No, you would be very memorable on the island.
I think I'm actually, if I like, I do think I'm like Hurley, but I also kind of think I'm like Charlie, where I feel like I wouldn't be much help, but I also would feel like I don't know.
Well, maybe Charlie like wanting to be the rock star.
Yeah, I think I'm Hurley because in season 2 we found out Hurley. I always said in the last podcast I like that they don't talk about Hurley's weight, but now it's like gotten more into it, and he did have like a food problem, and I was like, oh, I like related to that.
Yeah, but you relate to one issue they have, but the reality of
Bad
personality.
luck. I think I was bad luck for
No.
so long.
No,
He plays the lottery. Do I not play the lottery every Tuesday and Friday?
no, I don't agree. You're not bad luck, first of all.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't know, like I think personality-wise, you have more of a personality than Hurley because he's very just passive,
No, he's sweet.
goes with the flow. Exactly. He's
Shannon's
just
mean.
He's just no, but I'm not saying you're like Shannon because
Oh.
she didn't have personality. I think you'll be more involved with what's happening.
I don't think I would. I'd probably be Claire because I'm pregnant right now. So maybe I'm Claire. I'll just be like, I'm having a baby. Charlie, no, I'm having a baby. I can't do Australian. I would. Someone said we should cosplay as them, but I can't do the accent. Let's hear your Charlie impersonation. Then we'll get into the notes. Let's hear it.
Claire, you never heard about Drive Shaft?
That's like American, kind of. That was good though.
No, I'm trying to think. He's talking to maybe like his brother. What about my family? He's like, he has a bit of a raspy voice.
You sound like Sylvester Stallone or something.
Well, that's good. I like that.
Okay, did you do a Saeed impression? No, you haven't done one. Let's hear your Iraqi.
Shannon, I want to build you a little computer.
That sounded more just Israeli. I like it. That was good though.
It comes and goes, the Iraqi.
I can do it. I'll be my side. Be like, you give us those right now, or else I'm going to torture you.
Because also, Saeed doesn't have like an Arabic accent.
Right, you
Like
did
when
call
he
that
speaks
out.
Arabic, it's horrible. It's not even close to what Arabic sounds like.
Do you know
so-
Arabic?
Yeah.
So I believe you, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you did say that. His accent's weird because the actor is British.
He sounds like a British person trying to speak Arabic while being Indian.
But I've never heard an Arabic accent. Like I've never heard like someone. I just know 90 Day Fiance, like Hamza, like that's how or
Right.
the guy from Jordan. Where it's like, but they don't really speak, you know, so it's hard to tell. I don't know.
Like they don't pronounce the P's. It's like a B. So it's like,
Let's hear your.
can I have a Bibsy?
Oh, that's pretty good. See, you could be on
No,
there.
okay. I always need a second.
I love all the episodes of Saeed. I just get very excited about it, and he's such a good actor, and he's just my favorite. Who's your favorite on the show? Who's your favorite? Not who you're most like. Who's your favorite? Who do you like their backstory?
My favorite. Well, I do like Desmond. Actually, like funny enough, Desmond
Yeah.
to me was always like a fun character that was interesting. Like he knows more than everyone, but not too much. He's in between because he's not part of the airplane, but he's not the others. But he has a bit of
Right.
both.
Well, I haven't gotten to see him enough because I haven't watched the show before, so he's only been in a few episodes so far, so I don't really know his personality.
See you in another life, brother. Brother.
That was pretty
It's
good.
more, brother.
Oh yeah.
See you in another. Catch you in another life, brother.
The Scottish needs work. It's more like, wait on. Yeah, what you got over there, brother?
Yeah, sounds good.
I was like, I'm really bad at accents too. I'm not good,
No, that was good.
but you have his vibe for sure too. You kind of look like him. I feel like you kind of look like everyone. Like I see Jack in you, but I do see Desmond now. I think you just have that face where you can kind of cosplay
Transform.
anybody. I don't have that luxury. You're very lucky. I want you to be Saeed, but you kind of do look more like Desmond. You have like his skinny legs. Although you have Saeed's body too, your skinny body. Anyways, which I love, by the way. All right, let's get into this. So my podcast is basically if I'm like going over Lost, like never seeing it before. Now we're on season 3, episode 4. So we're gonna finish off season 1 and then we'll go into season 2. Let me just say, because we are on season 3, the show like changes shows. Like it's like a different show. Season 2 was like a different show than season 1, and now season 3, I feel like I'm watching a completely different show.
Right.
And I don't know if that's good or bad because I kind of miss like the island life and all the people together, and now they're like separated, and it's kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, but I think like there's only so much you can do staying at the same place in the same situation.
But they're
So they
so
have
dramatic.
to.
It's like now we're in a hatch, and now we're in like a jungle cage. Like
Right.
I don't like season 3 so far. We watched an episode last night that was so gruesome. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it was so. Anyways, let's finish the good season, which is season 1, and I got some notes about season 1. What's been your favorite so far, babe?
Well, season one, I mean, for me, it's just always the discovery of new things. So finding the hatch, getting into the hatch.
Oh, you like that?
I like the black smoke, that machine, like all those things. Like I like those things.
From the ASMR, I was trying to get black smoke. I'm like, how do we have a smoke
I
machine
brought my
inside?
smoke machine.
Did you?
Yeah. Now we just need to get the liquid for
Oh,
it.
we could do a little cosplay outside with a smoke machine or something. Does it work? Oh, you don't have the liquid, you said.
But we can buy it like on the way.
One theme that Moses actually pointed out, and it actually goes really well with our notes for season. We're doing season 1, episodes 13 to 25, is the daddy issues. Lost has a bunch of daddy issues, which is so interesting. Like, I wonder, one, why that's like the recurring theme, why that's the common theme is like the writers that had something with their dads. But everybody has daddy issues. All the characters on the island have no dads, daddy issues. We saw with Walt and Michael, like, obviously wasn't a dad in his life and then became a dad, like, 2 days before the crash or whatever. But why?
Jack and his dad.
Oh, yeah, all of
Like
them.
everything about Jack is his relationship with his dad, and then he's going to rescue his dad, and his dad dies. Later to find out in the episode that his dad, loved him and cared about him through Sawyer.
Right. Sawyer's dad
Sawyer's dad, um,
unalived himself in front of him. Kate obviously has major daddy issues. We found out that her real dad wasn't her dad, and the one that was her dad was like
right,
doing
and he
stuff,
ended up killing her dad.
which is all in this. Yeah.
Hurley is missing a father. He doesn't have one.
Yeah. Charlie, we never hear about his father. We just know about his mother.
And John Locke, that's a big one.
Big.
His
Which
dad betrayed him,
multiple
and
times.
and for John Locke, it's always about finding family, finding a
Yeah.
father figure.
Claire lost her dad, and we found or Shannon lost her father, and she
Right.
didn't
So
get any of
her
the
life.
money, and that's why she had a con Boone, and
So nobody has a good father figure, or they have one they have issues with, or they have one they killed, or they're having babies without fathers.
yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah,
everyone,
Claire, the dad wanted nothing to do with
yeah.
the baby.
And then
It's
and
interesting.
Michael is the one that's kind of like has been, but we see the other side too. Michael is like battling to be the father in his kid's life. He doesn't get to do it, and now
Yeah.
he gets to redo it.
Right, which is all
And
in season 1 basically. Michael's really good actually. Michael is underrated on the show. Well, first of all, I don't really like him on the show, but I like him as an actor. But his character drives me nuts on the show. We haven't seen him. He kind of escaped in a boat. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's just get into it. So episode 13, this is when Locke gives Boone ayahuasca. Boone gets scammed by Shannon, which we just said, and then they end up sleeping together. Also, Shannon and Saeed, this is where they start dating and getting hot and heavy. So it's heavily focused on Locke, Boone, Shannon.
so Locke is like basically a medicine man, like a guru. When you give somebody like Boone a medicine, like a psychedelic medicine, to have a certain experience, and so he is that kind of a spiritual person. He's a symbol of spirituality in the show.
Right. But he's
Locke.
right. But he gives him the ayahuasca to help Boone see
Get over his sister,
sister because he
or
sees.
to see what is the issue in his life that is holding him back, and he sees that that issue is his sister, or his relationship with his sister is his issue.
This is so interesting. So it's so funny because there's two kinds of Lost fans. I feel there's those that are philosophical and can dig deep, and you see all those. You see all the symbolisms and stuff like that. And then there's me who like sometimes I don't even know what's going on half the time. But I do find it interesting because there's just to me it's like a soap opera. To you it's like a there's
Yeah, I look at
symbolism
the
and everything
symbolism.
because you always will say like, oh, he has like a Chinese symbol here, or there's a Chinese symbol on his shirt, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, each character, right? It's like archetypes. So it's like Jack is science. He's the doctor. Then you have John Locke is spiritualism, talking to God. Then you have Sawyer, which is basically like this kind of like Wild West cowboy. It's all about guns and power,
Yeah.
right? So he gets his power from guns. And then you have Kate. I think like they don't have really strong.
Female characters. That's the problem. They could have made it
Like there's
stronger.
Kate, which is the girl that all those men fall in love with, and then yeah.
And
So
in real life, she's all the men in her life are disasters with her. Like her boyfriend, she ends up like killing and on accident, and then she's always on the run from guys. That one guy she used to get the little plane. So she kind of just uses guys on the islands. We saw last night in season 3. He's like, if you love me, you do this. She goes, I just said I loved you and didn't really mean it.
and then there's the island, which is like island can represent just nature. So then there's the birth of man into nature, right? And the others are like the prehistoric life before mankind.
Right.
So suddenly mankind is like an alien landed on Earth, and now this is what they're doing, right?
But we don't know. We don't really know their backstory, right? Or you do? Do you remember it?
Not yet. Where we are now, we don't really know who are the others, where they came from.
And where did that name even come from? Who started that? The Castaways?
The others?
The others. Like, who started that name? I guess maybe Russo? I don't know.
Yeah, somebody from that, because they call it the others, and then Desmond and people in the hatch called it the hostiles.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
The Hatch season 2 is kind of weird, too. Anyways, we're getting ahead again. But, yeah, I did not like the Boone. I like the flashbacks. I like the romance stuff. I like when that happens. So Boone sleeping with his sister, I was like, I don't know about. And Shannon and Saeed getting together was a shock too, which I read, and they actually said that was Naveen Andrews' idea to have the Iraqi veteran with, like, he called her Miss America because it would shock everybody, especially in like 2004. I feel like specifically him being from Iraq, I mean, that was literally like, that was all that was in the news was Iraq and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. We don't really know why, too, not to be all about Saeed, but we really don't know why he's from Iraq. Like, why did they make him from there? Like, why couldn't they, I don't know, kind of weird. Do we know, like, the significance?
Well, I think it relates to like
Just,
the American connection, the war.
right, just being scared by him at
And
first.
I think what they wanted is the set of skills he had.
Right, that would make sense.
Right, so he's a person of truth. He always knows the truth. He knows if somebody's lying, and nobody can lie to him. He can always get the truth out of them.
Fun fact, Naveen Andrews said he's nothing like Saeed. He said he can't even change a light bulb. I read an interview where he said that his partner has to change his light bulb because he is not, which is so crazy because on the show he's so crafty and you're just like, damn, that's so hot. And then you're like, oh. He's like, I'm nothing
But
like
also,
that.
now that I'm famous, why should I change the light bulb?
Yeah, that's true. All right, so then episode 14 is when they start the raft. Walt gets trapped by a polar bear. Claire comes back from captivity, and and then we get Walt's backstory and Michael's backstory. The mom dies. Walt's mom dies. The stepdad's like, hey, I don't want this kid anymore, even though Michael had to give him up for adoption by force by the mother, like when he was like 2. How old is Walt supposed to be now? Like 10?
Probably.
And basically the stepdad's like, I'm going to give him up because he's like different. Like you have to take him or whatever. And he's like, what the hell? So that's why he's over in Australia. So basically also on Lost, they all come from Australia to LA. They're all on this flight. So we find that backstory and we find out Walt is different. And yeah, they're building a raft now to get off the island, which I think it was a mistake, the raft. I think building it and having your like son go with you was a mistake. It got that later on, but I just didn't really get the point of the raft. I guess everyone was on board. I wasn't on board for it. I'd be like,
but that was the Michael thing. Like as a dad, they keep showing Michael trying to be a good dad or to do things for his son. Like his son is above everything. So he's like, I gotta get him off this island. But then at the same time, taking him on the raft is dangerous. But he can't leave him behind because you can't leave your son behind, and he left him before. So he ended up in this situation that's a lose-lose situation. And then later on, this is much later on, he does even more horrible things, Michael, in the name of saving his son. So he's kind of lost all logic and all
Right.
morality.
For his son, which he does become all of a sudden like super dad, where he's just like, I'm going to protect my son. I'm going to protect my son. Which in episode 17, we get back to like why the boat is all there. Episode 15, we have Claire. Oh, and Claire's stumbling back from the jungle because in episode 15, she loses her memory. She doesn't know anything about Charlie. She doesn't know anything like that. Ethan finds Charlie. So Ethan is the one that like captured her. He hung Charlie, punched Jack out. He's part of like the others. That actor creeps me out so much. There's two actors in this show that creep me out. Ethan, his face, which I guess is why he's probably a working actor, scares me. It's literally my dreams. And then the other one is Ben Linus. He also creeps me out. Michael Emerson. But they all have weird faces. Like the other guy and the others too. The guy with the gray hair. I just hate his face. Like hence why they're actors. But it's just like, oh my god, they just bug me. Ethan gets captured. Everyone wants to keep him alive. But of course, Charlie ends up killing him. And then the flashback is Charlie with like his rich girlfriend and stuff and like getting clean. Which I don't really know what that flashback has to tie into with this one. Like, I don't know why they flashback Charlie with this particular one. I guess because Ethan finds him, threatens him, and then he kills Ethan.
They always show up people messing up in the past, and now they want to do it right.
So
Charlie let down that girlfriend he had, and he doesn't want to let Claire down.
Oh.
Because he messed up with her a few times.
Right. So he basically kills him, but they're all like, we wanted to keep him alive, which makes sense but we see.
Because then I can interrogate him and know what actually happens, what's happening here.
The Saeed interrogation scenes too, I can't do. Those are so much. But yeah. Oh, God, and season 3 has been so much with the torturing. They have a lot of torture. It's very like graphic, this one. Episode 16 is flashback. Sawyer's parents get murdered. Again, the daddy issues thing. Sawyer kills the wrong guy. And this one, Sawyer on the island is seeing a boar, which he can't kill. Like, he goes to find the boar, finds the boar, can't kill the boar, which is, again, I guess there must be some symbolism in there between he killed somebody who he thought was having an affair with his mother, wasn't. So he killed the wrong guy, and now there's this boar that he can't kill.
It seems like everyone are being haunted by people that have passed away. So everyone, like Jack's dad shows up in real life, and he, like each time they lead them to something, they follow them. So Jack followed his dad and found the water. Kate was following the horse. Sawyer was following the boar. Like each person follows some animal or person.
Yeah, Hurley with
Hugo,
the mental,
with the guy from the mental institute.
But are they actually there, or is it hallucination?
Well, that depends if you think they're alive to begin with.
Everyone's been telling me they are alive on the island.
The afterlife?
No, everyone's saying they're alive.
If this is the afterlife, then you meet all the people that died over there.
Everyone's telling me that they are alive on the island.
So the other option is that the island has like a different relationship with space and time. So
which it kind of does.
People
spoiler
can show up from different time and place.
The reason I think it's real or something is because when Jack was seeing his dad, the coffin was empty that was carrying the dad back from Australia. So why was the coffin empty? I feel like the island heals people, cancer, all this stuff. It heals people. So like, or you're just saying it has
also
shifting.
When you die, you're healed. So it's that's another way of looking
yeah.
at it.
I still feel like maybe they're all dead. Everyone's like, no, that's not how it is. But I kind of get that sense. But then also, what's the point? I mean, it is.
Well, but also you have to remember, like, as the show progresses in seasons, they didn't write all seasons of the first one. So
yeah,
things do shift in the way they themselves write the show.
There's a spoiler for season 2. I won't say it all, but there's two main characters that die in season 2, and I like looked it up, and it was because they got like DUIs. So I was like, oh my god, so did they just like rewrite all of season 2 in real life?
In real life, the actors
got DUIs, same night, separate. Yeah.
and now they have to get people off the show. So like the show, that's what's so interesting because like
Yeah.
when I watch a TV show, I just watch a show and that's it. At the end, I don't remember who's on the show. I don't know their names. I don't know nothing about their personal life. But watching the show with her, we get like this full spectrum of what happened on set, behind the scenes, who are the actors, who are they dating, who on the show was dating who,
Yeah.
were they married when they got into the show, when did they divorce, like all those things.
Yeah.
So suddenly like you realize, oh my god, like this show have like things that were written in the script were actually written because of things happening in real life,
Yeah.
like actors. Same thing with Echo.
Yeah.
Like I love the character Echo, Mr. Echo.
And then I spoil it. I'm always spoiling it because he saw it a long time ago. But I like to look up spoilers. Everyone's like, why do you look up spoilers? I like it because it lets me know. It guides me. I know where it's going. And so sometimes I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's this or whatever. And then I don't know. I like to know. I like to know. But yes, there's like Echo. Yeah, he requested to be written off because his adoptive parents, I believe, passed away. So he wanted to be written off the show. So it's really interesting. So they have to shift. They have to. I know Desperate Housewives was like that too. They were writing based on
Rating.
ratings and also character likability and all that stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting. You made a good point. I was going to say something. I'll find it. There was another interesting point, and it was about that specific one.
Which one?
The symbolism, the boar. Oh, man.
The characters. So things showing up.
Things showing up. There was. You made the good point. Like when we realized that it was healing, it healed John Locke out of his wheelchair physically, fertility for Sun and Jin, and cancer for Rose. But you were like, it heals their body, but it seems like their minds, even people who are mentally sane, are now.
So like Hurley, he wasn't healed from the things he thought he needs to be healed from.
Right. But Jack, who probably didn't have or maybe he did have mental problems off the island.
Well, definitely the issues he had with his dad. Like, they're all still dealing with the issues they had. Like, John Locke, like, don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And like everyone, so everyone's bodies were healed, but not their mind, like their spirit.
So again, that kind of goes to some people are saying like they died, now they're in purgatory and they have to deal with like what they couldn't settle on the thing, which I get that. I know everyone's gonna be mad because everyone's like, no, they're alive. And I'm like, well, I don't know. So episode 17, Michael's raft is on fire. Everyone blames Jin, and we find out that it was Walt. Walt confesses to liking the island, and the flashback is Jin basically being a hitman for Sun's father. But instead of killing them, he's able to save them. He's done this a couple times now. We're on season 3. He's done this a couple times where he's set to kill someone basically, but he just doesn't do it and gives them a second chance at life, which is good karma. Then we realize Sun speaks English, which is, everyone now realized this. So yeah, basically Walt's like, I like it here on the island, so I wanted to burn the raft. And Michael's like, all right, we'll stay on the island. And then Walt's like, no, we have to go. So it's very... It's very confusing. Everyone blames Jin. Jin, does he get handcuffed or was he already handcuffed at this point? I think he gets handcuffed. No. I don't think he gets handcuffed. That was earlier, maybe. I don't know. But I like the Jin flashbacks. I think it shows a lot more to him because he has to speak Korean the whole show. Like you don't really get to know too much of him, so his flashbacks kind of show that. And Sun as well. Like I feel like it gives you totally different character perspectives. Because on the island they're just very sweet and they're a couple and whatever. But I really like their characters. I like to see them involved. Jin, we find out way later on, is understanding English better than we all think.
Well, he learned on the island.
Yeah. So it just...
And also we learned that everything was filmed in Hawaii. So even stuff in like Korea and all
Nigeria.
That stuff would be like in a Japanese temple in Hawaii. Everything was filmed in Hawaii. And when you film, you have to decide, like, you either go to the studio as much as you can or you do it on site. So it seems like they committed to filming in Hawaii, everything there.
Yeah, which is weird. Maybe they got like a kickback or something for filming there because you would think it'd be more expensive than like filming here at Burbank.
But then what you do is like you actually, for example, you don't rent equipment, you just buy it outright. You buy the cameras, you buy the lights, because everyone lived on the island, all the actors.
Yeah.
So then you just do that, and then at the end of the filming, you sell all the stuff. Like we do that in the construction world.
But do you think maybe they hired a local film crew? Like when we did my music video over there's like a big filming thing in Maui that you can just hire that crew and their equipment.
They might have to. I think there's laws of how much you can, like,
I bet they
there's certain percent you have to hire local.
I bet they did.
It's possible.
Because even when we did my little music video, I mean, there was like a huge crew that had all this equipment in Maui that we just hired. And I brought over like Andrew and like Nick, and that was it.
I just think for this level of TV show, they might not have,
That's
you
true.
know, the level that they want to have.
Yeah, we found out the pilots were like, what was it? God, I'm going to say the number wrong. Was it 11 million or was it more for just the two episodes?
9 million?
Maybe it was something. It was crazy. It was a lot. We looked it up. And we also looked up that both Jin and Hurley still live. Well, actually, no, that was in my live chat. Someone told me that Jin and Hurley still live on the island.
Oh, that was Sawyer. Or no?
I thought Sawyer did. I still think he does. I don't know. But the other person told me Daniel Day Kim. Or maybe it was. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm getting them all confused. Thank you, by the way. Shout out to the live chat. So, yeah, there's that. And then episode 18, one of my favorite episodes. This is the numbers episode, which I love numbers. You love numbers. I feel like we're those weird number people that think numbers mean something. I think they do. I'm very into like obviously double digits, all that stuff like that. These numbers have been speaking to me. I don't know. I get fixated on a show, and these numbers have been everything. 4, 8, which I love. 8's like my favorite number. We got 15, 16, 23, and 42, which 42, they said, was the meaning of life. It was a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide. Like, the people who wrote it actually said that that's why they picked 42, which I thought was interesting.
You have to have 42 in there.
That's so interesting. I've watched Hitchhiker's Guide, did not even know. You knew right away when I told you. You said meaning of life.
Yeah, because it comes up in so many different movies and shows.
Number 42?
Yeah.
Oh, not just Hitchhiker's Guide?
Because of Hitchhiker's Guide. Because it's really old.
But there's no meaning to that, right? It's just like a random thing. It's like meaning to life, 42. It's like funny.
I think it's more the idea that would be that the meaning of life will not be like a long paragraph. It will be just a number. It's beyond what you can understand.
I feel so honored to have you here. Moses had a channel when I first met him. I mean, he still has the channel. He doesn't post there anymore. And it was all about philosophy and the meaning of life and what is love and what is consciousness. This is just right up your alley. This is you could go a deep delve into this show where we've seen, obviously, like I told you last time, like Naveen Andrews is just like, I don't see any meaning into this. He doesn't get it, whatever, which is kind of how I see. But I like when you can go philosophical. I like when anyone, I don't go on to like Reddit, but I know there's like pages dedicated to like all of this stuff, like all the theories. And I do like to read the theories here and there, but it like my mind just goes so crazy. I just like to take it for what it is. But I like when you go deep because I'm like, ooh, okay. Any thoughts on the numbers?
Well,
or do you think they're just random?
There probably is something mathematical for that. I'm surprised they didn't have other numbers, like 18, 9. Like there's 3, 9, 18. There's other numbers that have even more of a. And then 108 has a meaning too, if I remember correctly.
Do you know what it is?
So they probably took the numbers from like, because the Dharma Initiative, it's all like inspired by like the Far East, I Ching, and those kind of things, philosophies. So I think that's probably where they drew the number for.
What is Dharma? Dharma is
the Dharma. Even like in the song about Alice in Wonderland, they said that's what the Dharma said. I don't know. I think it's like
your life path.
Yeah, but it's like more of like their Bible or their
like your Dharma is like your purpose, your journey.
Maybe because there's karma. That's kind
right.
of like your karma.
I looked it up and
the Dharma, I think it's a more general term.
Yeah.
For life.
And you think it's Eastern? I guess that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The symbolism, that hexagon, that's from the I Ching.
It's kind of like a snake, though. Isn't there a snake? Or no?
Well, inside each one of them, they had a different symbol for each hatch. Each hatch on the island had a different symbol.
And we've been seeing like the Asian characters. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have their own necklaces and tattoos on the show.
I wonder if there's any meaning to that. But basically, this is the numbers episode. So we have Hurley's flashback, and we realize that he is a lottery ticket winner, which I think is so cool. I'm obsessed with playing the lottery. I think it's really cool. I love that he wins, but like I also know a lot of times they say lottery ticket is cursed. A lot of people who win the lottery, like in real life even, they say it's the curse of lottery, like die or whatever. So his bad luck begins. So basically these numbers appear. Russo says that these are the numbers that drew her people there to the island. It was the radio broadcasting those numbers. And then he also sees the numbers engraved on the hatch. And he's like, dude, don't open these. This is bad. You don't believe in bad luck? I believe in bad luck. You don't think there's anything?
No, more maybe bad karma, but not bad luck.
You don't think someone can be unlucky?
Randomly, no.
So maybe that's it. Maybe he has bad karma. That's why he's on the island. Maybe he has bad karma.
But we don't know yet if it's a bad thing for him to be on the island or not.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to mind it. There's people who like to be on the island. John Locke, Walt, and Rose. And then there's people who just like want to get off the island so bad. And then there's some people who just chill. And I feel like Hurley is like making camp chilling. And then there's some people who are like, we need to get off, like Rose's husband. But I just like the Hurley flashbacks a lot because once again, like I think for me, he has the best personality in the show. I think he's really sweet. I think we had talked about this earlier, how there's like societal everything. And I feel like he just represents like someone who's just like the perfect, the perfect person. I don't know. I just really like him. I like his backstories.
He's very zen.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's chill. Everyone else is a little
Like he was content with his life even before when his mother is bugging him. Like you can do more. You should do more. You should get a better job, lose weight, do this, do that. And he's like, I'm fine the way I am. So it's like he's very zen.
Oh, was I dreaming this or was this in the show where was there like a therapist asking him about like being insecure about his weight? Or was I had a dream like that?
The therapist did talk to him about it.
And you're like, why is he bringing up his weight? Because it was about like his mental, and then he's just like,
oh, because Harley, one of his main problems was he stepped out on a balcony, and there were too many people on the balcony, so the balcony collapsed.
yeah.
But to him, he thought it's my weight. I made the balcony collapse. That's why 2 people died. So he felt so bad about it, even though it actually wasn't his fault specifically. It's just once you pass a capacity, that happens. So that's when in the mental institute, the doctor would talk to him about weight.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to trigger that because Hurley wouldn't talk about it. That's
right.
why.
But he was like asking if he was like insecure about his weight, which that triggered me because I think I told you the story. I broke a chair at the Cheesecake Factory when I was 18 years old, and I wasn't even that big, and I was like so mortified. And ever since then, I like cannot sit at table and chairs. We always had to sit in booths. Like it's so real, that kind of stuff. So that's crazy. Yeah, I guess is that why he was in the mental hospital? Because
Yeah.
Interesting. That episode was really good too, the mental hospital one. But I mean that shit can trigger you for sure. What's something else about that? Really in the mental hospital. I don't know. Thing. Anyways, by the way, this is giving me old school Moses. Moses always had his hair really long. How long did you have your hair long for?
I don't know, 20 years at least.
Oh my god, it's so crazy to see like this because it does look like the old you, the one when I met you. He always had long hair. I like the short hair, but this is giving me.
It's funny.
It's fun. I love it. Anyway, sorry. I get distracted looking at you. I was like, you're hotter than Saeed.
Thank you, Hurley, but I think it's inappropriate.
I was flirting with him in our ASMR as Hurley. I was like, so when are we going on that walk?
I was
You
trying not
laughed.
to
You
laugh.
laughed. I got
It
you to
was
laugh.
so hard.
It's like SNL. It's like when you can get someone else to laugh and you're like, okay, that was good.
I definitely broke character. I was laughing so much I was pretending that I was crying for losing Shannon.
So funny. All right, now we're on episode 19. Locke starts like losing sensation again in his legs. So basically, again, to recap, Locke was in a wheelchair before going on the island. The island, all of a sudden, from day one of the crash, he was able to walk. So in this episode, he starts losing sensation, which is like interesting because it's like, is the island losing its magic, its power? They find this plane kind of like teetering on top, and this is one that Locke was seeing in a vision. So Locke's almost kind of like sees the future. We saw that with Desmond in this last one, that he can kind of see the future. Maybe it's the island, or maybe the island is attracting these people. But Locke has visions. He had the vision with Echo, and then he had this vision here in this episode where he sees the plane. He sees Boone like bloody, but doesn't tell Boone.
He knew that something bad is gonna happen to Boone, but he sent him up there.
Which is so weird.
But then he said it. He said it very clearly. He said it's a sacrifice
the island
wanted.
Which makes me think like, okay, now you're being crazy.
But that's what people used to do. They used to sacrifice people for the gods.
Which makes me
That's
think.
what I'm saying. Like, it's all symbolic. It's really like the beginning. It's almost like watching the entire of society happen from scratch, but it's happening now from the. You know what I mean? So it has to, if you want to tell that story in a modern day, you have to take people from today and crash them on an island, take away all their social structures, take away technology, and let them start all over.
I think there was a reality show that like specifically focused on that. It was like everyone, I think it was called The Colony or something, and they took like different walks of life and they had to like build a society. I think it was around the same time as Lost. I remember that. I don't know how that show did, but I think we would be so good on a show like that if we were just like thrown in. I guess we'd be more of Sun and Jin, because I'd be like, don't freaking leave me, because Jin can be tough, but then Sun's like, don't. Like she tried to like poison him from Keenan on that raft, which is coming up later. But so Boone climbs up, sends a distress call. There's in the distress call, someone's like, he's like, we're the survivors of Oceanic 815. And then on the other line, we just hear, we're the survivors of Oceanic 815. So like that kind of gives you foreshadowing into season 2, because you're just like, what the hell? Basically this flashback is Locke meeting his parents, his father conning him out of kidney. So Locke's going through a lot in this episode. So basically Boone falls. The plane falls, Boone falls, and then Locke takes him back to Jack, lies how Boone got hurt, and then disappears. He's just like, basically like, oh, he just fell, like, and then disappears, which becomes fatal later on. And when he goes to like bang on the hatch becomes illuminated. And that is this episode. Thoughts on, so this is, again, the flashback is Locke, so it's centering on Locke, like you kind of said, his visions, which is weird. Like, how did he get these visions?
Also, his whole thing is about opening the hatch, but he can't find, like, he thought the answer would be in that airplane, but it wasn't. And then, I don't know. And then when he came back and was banging on the hatch, that's when Desmond heard him from inside. We don't know it yet at this point, but there was a connection there. It wasn't coincidence, because Desmond was always also in a breaking point.
Right.
Which suddenly he gets this signal from the outside.
Which is, I think that's the only symbolism I get, is like, oh, there's a light. That's the sign, is the light from his thing. But Boone's death is pretty anticlimactic. I mean, I was kind of shocked as he was a main character.
But his character wasn't that strong. Like, he wasn't like the symbolic characters, the archetypes.
Yeah.
He was just going to the flow of things.
Yeah, they're kind of like the pretty people, which I don't really know what they represent, because like you said, they didn't have much depth to them, but they were attractive. Maybe that's what they were there for, to be the cute ones. Although he did cling on to Locke, maybe because he didn't have a father.
Well, he became like a disciple, basically.
Oh, interesting. As a disciple, like a follower.
Yeah.
That's weird, because like we found out, Jack seems to be Locke seems to be a magnet for like attracting followers. People seem to want to follow. Who else wanted to follow him in a past season? And he's like, oh, people who follow me get hurt.
Charlie, or?
Oh, maybe it was Charlie, and later on. Anyways, so yeah, this is his daddy issue, is then he sees his dad for the first time. His dad is basically like, oh, let's be father and son again. He's like, yes, that's all he wanted. And he's not young. Like, Locke is like maybe in his 40s when he meets his dad. And then he sees his dad getting like dialysis and is like, I'll give you my kidney. And then basically the dad just leaves after the kidney surgery and like locks him out of his house. And the mom's like, I needed the money. So basically gets conned out of a surgery. And if that doesn't scream daddy issues, I don't know. I think that's the worst of all of them. I mean, Kate, obviously, too. She had her father, like, molest her, I think is what it was implied. But getting conned by your adult father is bad. It gets worse. I know spoilers. I don't know if you remember, but it does get worse with his dad. Do you know?
No, but I just know at some point he'll be in a wheelchair, so.
Yeah. From his dad.
I don't know. We'll see.
I keep wanting to spoil it. I love spoiling. I just want to say everything. I love spoilers. I feel it makes me feel smart. And then episode 20, we have Boone tells Jack about the hatch. Claire gives birth. Saeed and Shannon have their date, which I love that side storyline, by the way, because we don't see any romance, and it's just very random that they like go on a date. Or maybe it's not random because this is when Boone dies, so maybe Shannon being away is part of it. And then this flashback, which I don't get this either, is Jack's wedding to his patient. We find out he stays a patient and gets married to her. But why is Jack the focus of this when I guess because he's trying to save Boone, because I guess he saved his patient, now he's trying to save Boone, but like I don't really understand the connection.
Yeah, because at the moment it would look like he wasn't, because you would think, well, maybe he didn't manage to save another person and he wants to make up for it now, but I don't know. He was definitely like not letting go of Boone. and it got to a point where Boone was telling him, "It's okay, let's just let me die."
Yeah, like you can break your promise to me.
Like,
Is it because the other person died in the car accident with Shannon, which was Boone's dad or stepdad? Because Shannon,
right.
his wife comes in. Sorry, not Shannon, but Jack's wife comes in. She's
Oh,
in an
so
accident.
I think they were just using it to show the connection between the two of them. Like Jack did not save his father, and he couldn't save him either. You know what I
Which we
mean?
didn't
Like
know at the time.
some kind of a fate, destiny type thing.
Interesting. Yeah. Jack gets a lot of flashbacks and his are just always all over the place. But so at the same time that Jack is trying to save Boone. Now, Locke, why did Locke lie? So Locke lied about the injury or how he got the injury. If he would have said, something about his leg being, compromised, they could have just cut the leg off right away rather than wasting blood. But he didn't. He lied about how he got injured, therefore wasting time, and then they couldn't save him.
Because they thought he fell, but he was actually crushed.
That's
so
right.
when somebody gets crushed inside, they have bleeding that you have to take care of. So Jack got the wrong information. Because of getting the wrong information, Boone died, which for Jack was like criminal. Like for him not to be able to save somebody because of wrong information.
But
He
why
takes
did he
it
give the
personally.
wrong information?
Because I think John doesn't want anyone to know that he was in a wheelchair, first of all. He doesn't want anyone to know that he has issues with his legs or that he can lose that. And then he's the man of spirit. He talks to the island. He can't expect Jack to understand that. So it's better to just not even go there.
Right.
Because then you get categorized as crazy. So he probably just took the easy way out, with just saying he fell.
Does Locke's legs get better after that? Like was the sacrifice like, oh, I sacrificed Boone and now my legs are getting better? Because all of a sudden he's like walking again.
Right. So I don't know if it's just the level of faith or connection he has with the island that affects his legs, or I don't know. It was hard to,
Because
they kind of just went, kind of cut the corner with that one.
because all of a sudden he's walking again. So when you said the sacrificing, it's like maybe that was the sacrifice he had to make, and now his legs are fine and he can find the hatch. I mean, maybe it was true because now the latch at the hatch is illuminated.
Or it feels like John had to go through something in order for the hatch to reveal itself.
But then it's kind of like it was just a coincidence. It wasn't really fate. It was just that guy also in despair. So he's like, okay, I'm going to turn this light on.
No, but John knocking on it helped that guy. Like they both helped each other. So
Interesting. All right. So then we have 3 episodes. Oh, no, we have a few episodes left. We have 5 episodes left. So episode 21, there's the play now. Episode 21, Locke comes back and asks Shannon forgiveness. Shannon's like, hell no, I'm going to take this gun and I'm going to kill you. I think she wants Saeed to kill him. She'll go kill John. She herself goes with the gun, sees Locke. Saeed is like, no, don't do it. So I think a bullet like grazes. Does he get shot in the head a little bit or... Because he's kind of bloody. I think it kind of grazes Locke, or maybe he doesn't get shot, or maybe it just hits him because Saeed tackles her. And then basically she's like, okay, you go kill Locke. And he's like, show me the hatch. Because Saeed has the way, once again, why Saeed is the best character. He just has a way of like getting whatever he wants. He's like, you're going to show me this. You're going to do this. So Locke takes him to the hatch. This flashback was... Before last night's episode was it was too intense. Like the Saeed ones are intense. I think they're too real for me. The other ones seem kind of like made up. Like Sawyer, like you said, is this like Western cowboy that doesn't seem real. Kate is all of a sudden this like badass that doesn't seem real. I don't know. The doctor, everything just seems kind of like fake, and I guess this one just seems too real. This is Saeed's flashback. We find out he is an informant for the Australian Secret Intelligence and the CIA. Not really by choice, but I think they had his... The weird thing with Saeed is he has this like relationship with Shannon, but he's still in love with this girl who's alive, Nadia. And so basically the Australian government was like, hey, if you help us find this terrorist, like we'll tell you where
Australian
Nadia
or
is.
American?
Both.
American.
There was an Australian secret intelligence and then there was also the CIA. So I think he was in Australia with the guy when he saw his old friend, when he saw the guy, that was Australia, right? I don't think he was in America yet, or was he? I have written down Australian Secret Intelligence and CIA, but I don't know. I thought that's why he was in Australia. You remember he was going to like board and they're like, hey, come with us. He was going to go to London or something.
I don't know. And I don't know why he's in Australia.
I thought it was because, and then they were like, we're going to give you a ticket to go see Nadia in LA if you help us with this. I thought that was where it went. I don't know. He's in one of them. It does say CIA here too, so maybe it's both. Because I thought they had accents. I thought they did. I don't know. So basically, they're like, you have to help us like infiltrate this like terrorist act going to happen. But it's his friend that we had seen earlier from the military. And basically, he's like, all right, I'm going to do this for you because I want to find out Nadia. So this is kind of like correlates with, I guess, him with Shannon, because he doesn't let Shannon just like, basically like his friend, he could have let his friend go or something like that, but he's still kind of turned him in. Shannon, he's kind of like, oh, I did this before for a girl, so let me like kind of like do the right thing, and like, I don't know, that's how I'm getting this one. But basically his friend's pissed. His friend's like, you have to like kill yourself because like what the hell, you're like double crossing. And I think he like goes with him as if he is gonna do this like terrorist act, and then the other guy just like kills himself, and Saeed's kind of like, damn. But he seems unbothered by all this. He kind of seems like, I mean, not unbothered. He definitely gets emotional, but he's just, he's like, I got to find my girl. Now on the island, I feel like he's not taking Shannon's side. So that's why I'm thinking this is the parallel right here. Because I don't know. Right? What do you think? Thoughts?
I don't know. To me, it's very confusing.
What part?
His part. I think it's more like he just switched inside. He was in a war fighting an enemy, and then suddenly he has people on his side that are going to kill innocent civilians, and they just managed to convince him to not do it, and he wants to find this girl, and they know where she is, so he'll do it to help them find that girl.
He seems to flip because
It's more of morality thing, like, doing the right thing. But they have the information, like, we know where your girl is, so now he'll do that. Like, we see it with everyone. When Jack got confronted with the others, they use Kate.
Oh, interesting.
When Sawyer got caught by the others, they use Kate. Like, every time they use a woman that they love to try and to basically get them to do what they want them to do.
Which is interesting because you would think Saeed, being Iraqi military Muslim, would always go on that side, because that seems what they do. It's like, that's first, sacrifice yourself first.
So
and
they're saying love is bigger than that.
oh, I kind of love that though. You're right, because even Jack and Sawyer is like that too. That's cool. I like that about him. Yeah, because he did that once for Nadia. He let her go while they were in the military, and then this time he literally was gonna like turn his friend in. He was like, "This is for the girl. Sorry." Which is interesting. What would you do? Would you be more loyal to your country or your girl?
No, but I think for Said it was a win-win situation because he doesn't want to kill innocent people and he wanted to find his girl.
How did he get out of? Oh, did we see the part yet where
They just wanted to prevent them from, doing the act and killing innocent people.
Oh, but that meant turning in his friend that he was loyal to in the military. Like, that was like...
Yeah, but turning, like, they already were on them. Like,
I see what you're saying. He's not into the terrorist act stuff. He's like, no.
No, he wasn't going to do any of that.
Interesting. Which, again, yeah, I like that. Have we seen the part where he is with the guy that we see later on in the show as part of the others? You remember that American military guy? We already saw that part, right? Was he earlier?
Oh, no, he was in the hatch. So this is later. Somehow that guy ended up working the hatch. Which means that the hatch has to do with the American government somehow.
Was that flashback already happened?
That happened with Desmond. Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it.
That's more
as
of
far as
Desmond's
this
story.
Right, but when we saw Saeed with him. Is that season 2 or season 1?
It's later.
Okay, so we haven't seen him.
We saw him with him before.
Right.
But the next time we see him was with Desmond much later on.
Interesting. Yeah, you recognize people right away. I'm not gonna lie. There's so many people that like look the same on this show.
No,
like
faces I remember, but not names.
No, but those blonde girls, like the blonde girl for Desmond and the blonde girl that's in this new others,
Yeah, they're kind of similar. Yeah.
Everyone looks the same. I was like, wait. They confuse me. There is too many blonde, skinny girls on this show. I don't understand that. They're all very diverse, the guys. And then all the girls are just like skinny, blonde, like all have the same faces. Beautiful. But I'm just like, I can't even tell the difference. And I'm usually pretty good with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I always love an episode with Saeed for sure. But the torture stuff, I cannot watch. I'm just like, I don't know. It really like makes me feel some type of way. I don't know if it's because I'm pregnant or what. But 22, Jack sees. So yeah, I guess that's painting Saeed as a romantic, which I like. I like that it gives him death. It paints him as a romantic, and it paints him as like a good guy. I think my baby's moving. I felt a little whew, maybe talking about whenever the torture scenes happens, I feel like she moves. That's why I like look away because I feel like whew, I was like, I don't know if it's my anxiety or it's my baby. I don't know. There's something. But episode 22, Jack sees the hatch and decides it needs to be open. Jack is another one that's a little bossy. He's a little too bossy for me. Like it has to be his way too.
Well,
And I'm
both.
like,
At the beginning is like, I don't want to be a leader. Who says, and then we need a leader.
yeah.
And then when he does, people are like, who made you a leader?
Yeah.
Which
People
is kind of normal. That's always the case.
Right. I mean, people get pissed at him for it. Walt knows about the hatch, which is interesting, and warns him not to open it, even though he's never seen anything about the hatch. So, like, basically, he tells him, like, don't open this hatch, but he doesn't even know anything about it. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't heard anyone talk about
It
it.
goes back to the idea that Walt is special. He has abilities that are beyond the normal.
Which is interesting. Yeah, so I guess that's where we're seeing that. Michael's poisoned. Everyone's like, what the hell? Walt confesses. Michael's like, we're going to stay on this island. Walt's like, no, we got to leave, basically. So basically, who did they think poisoned Michael originally? Did they think it was Jin? No, because Jin was building the raft.
No, because there was the whole thing with Kate and Sawyer fighting on who's going to be on the raft. So they thought it was Sawyer, and he thought Kate was framing him. So they were just trying to make us believe it's somebody else.
I think this is the episode where Sawyer also tells everyone she's a fugitive, and so everyone's just like, right. What the hell? You're not coming with me. Oh yeah, because he's like, Sawyer, you're off. But we find out Sun actually poisoned, but it was meant for Jin, and they got it mixed up because she didn't want Jin to go, which is like also kind of romantic. I love this whole like love theme. There is like a love theme to it. So like it's weird if you don't like action stuff, but there is like a love theme. I love that. This flashback is Kate. She's back home. She sees her boyfriend at the hospital. She goes to visit her mom. Her mom freaks out when she sees her, and we don't really know yet. Obviously, we watched season 2, so we don't know yet why her mom freaks out. But as soon as she sees her in the hospital, she starts freaking out. So Kate's like, I gotta run. She like runs out of the hospital. The boyfriend comes with her. She's like, get out of the car. The boyfriend's like, no. The car crashes. He's shot by police as they go in a car crash, and she runs. She basically flees. So I'm not sure the significance even into season 3.
That's the man she loved, and she caused him to die.
Oh, that was the one she loved. How do you know?
Because he had that little airplane toy. They had flashbacks with them when they were kids. They buried that kind of like time capsule together. So that's the thing. Like she caused the death of the one man she loved.
I can't, once again, get into her storyline because I just don't understand the significance. Like what makes that, what's building her character with that is just the fact that she had tragedy in her life or... Because there was no relationship build up with them. Yeah, we saw the plane thing and stuff, but there's no relationship. I didn't get that from that.
Well, her whole thing was like she is a criminal on the airplane. Now we got to explain why she's a criminal. And they were painting her as like the most awful person ever.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. They act like she was America's most wanted, but what, she stole a plane from a bank? Like, I don't get it.
No, but that just shows how much she loved the guy that died because of her, that she would kill more people just to get that little airplane.
It doesn't make
back.
sense. So she seduces a guy to help her rob a bank to get this plane. Like, it just seems very elaborate for no reason.
The things people do for love in this show is...
I like that, though. It makes me... I always am like, I paused the show. Jen said something to Sun, and I was like, I paused it, and he said it in Korean. I'm like, say that to me in Hebrew. Do you remember what it was? Can you say it in Hebrew?
Yes, but I think we're going to get cut off in a second.
All right, we're back. Let's hear it.
So what did he tell her? I'm trying to remember that he won't leave.
Yeah.
Her.
I'll never leave you, the both of you.
And if פעם לא יעזוב אותך או את שתיכם.
I love it so much. I really want Moses to be on a show. I'm putting it out there where he's like a Jin, where he only speaks Hebrew the whole show. Because I just love foreign languages, and I think it's so cool. And you actually know Hebrew, unlike the actor who played Jin. Not that he didn't know Korean, he just didn't speak it since he was little, so he had to learn to speak it. And I love when you speak it. So I paused it. I'm like, say that to me and the baby in Hebrew. I don't know why I brought that up. What made me think of that? I don't know. Whatever. So, love, I guess. I don't know. 23. I always say that too. I'm like, would you build me a tent? Would you do this? I love all the romance. Episode 23, Russo says the others are coming. Said she was pregnant when she came on the island 16 years ago, but baby was kidnapped, and that's when the black smoke started. She also shows them where to get dynamite to open up the hatch. This was like a scene where they had dynamite and like someone was going to blow up. Walt leaves Vincent the dog with Shannon before going on the raft, and the flashback is passengers shown before the final hours of the flight. So once again, you're just seeing like the stories intertwine. The Russo character,
I like her.
yeah, she's. But what is she like on the island? What is she? She's like she crashed there 16 years ago, or what happened? How is she the only one left?
Because she said the other was. So that's one thing that we don't know yet. They always say that people get infected. There's a quarantine. There's vaccines. There's.
It's weird.
But it seems like we don't know yet if that's real or not. That there's something that they actually get infected with. If the vaccine is actually real. So there's something weird in that whole thing. So she said they got sick, but then they alluded that she's the one that actually ended them.
Right.
Something like it's hard to tell.
She's like, I killed everybody.
But she was there with a crew of scientists or something. They crashed, and then her daughter was taken from her by the others.
Yeah, which we're like, okay, who are the others?
So she's playing basically a mother that lost her daughter. So so far everything she said was true always, but she's also very like scattered and wild in her mind because she's basically a wild person living for 16 years in the jungle.
In isolation, basically. She's by herself.
And losing the thing she loves the most.
But why is she still there?
Where would you go?
That's true. I mean, how are the others not got her? Like, I guess they just let her be there. I don't know.
It seems like she respected them. Like she would never cross and go to where they are.
Right, because later on we see her trying to like bargain with them.
So she always stopped. And when the new people that just crashed on the island, they would go, like Jack and those guys, they would want to go and confront them.
Start something, yeah. We still, again, we're on season 3 and we still have no idea what the others are, why they're there. One said they've been there in their entire life, and you're like, why? Okay, the final 2 episodes of this season are 24 and 25. They kind of do these finales where they combine them. I still sound sick. I'm not sick. Oh, yeah, and everyone, speaking of the vaccine, everyone just kind of gives themselves the vaccine. Like, we see Claire just, like, give her baby this vaccine.
But just her and the baby, and nobody else is taking it.
Desmond, right? Desmond was giving it to himself.
For a while, but then he stopped.
Yeah. Would you do it?
Not if nobody's sick. I mean, nobody's getting sick.
If someone's like, just take this vaccine every 9 days, would you?
No.
Okay, so the final episodes are one of the survivors. Oh, so this guy who we never see, sometimes he's like random survivors start getting lined. This one guy is with them doing the dynamite, and he's so loud and so obnoxious, gets blown up by the dynamite. So I guess they just use people to be expendable.
Yeah, but he was annoying the whole time, and I told you, look, just watch how he's gonna die. Like we know they're building it up to a point where he's gonna die, and we're not gonna care about it too much.
He was annoying, and he's been on stuff. He's been on other J.J. Abrams show, but hey, I would take those roles. The monster comes back. So now we see Russo, what we were just talking about her. She steals Claire's baby because she thinks she can like trade that baby for her 16-year-old daughter, I guess, in her head. I don't know. Saeed, of course, figures out like, oh, she is going to trade this baby. How he figures out things again, I don't know. He just like knows things, which is so smart. And then Saeed and Charlie come across the plane with the heroin. Saeed doesn't really know Charlie's history with the heroin, so Charlie's like, oh, what do I do? They find Russo. And she says that they heard that they were going after the boy, which she thought meant the baby, but the boy was actually the boy on the raft, which is Walt. So we find out that they want Walt. So she has Claire's baby, just gives the baby back, whatever. So now they're on the raft. This is Sawyer, Jin, Michael, and Walt. They're on a raft. They're like so excited, and they're like crushing it on this. And then they see another boat, and they're like, a boat, and then they like fire the gun, whatever. Which, by the way, I did not think was smart either. I guess they didn't know. But if you just saw a random boat, would you have fired the gun? I guess you have to.
Well, any sign of life is basically somebody else. And if they're somehow okay, then they can help you get out. Like They weren't thinking there's an enemy out there in the water.
Yeah. So they did that, but that was the ultimate demise because the people now on the rafts is now the others. And they're basically like, we want Walt. And they're like, you're not taking Walt. And in that, Sawyer gets shot, falls off the boat. Jin jumps in after Sawyer, which we don't, why does he do that? Why would he jump in after Sawyer? Michael's thrown to the water. Walt is grabbed. Boat goes up with explosives, so they're screwed even if they find the thing. And then Jack, Kate, Locke, Hurley, they blow open the hatch with the dynamite. They see the stairs. Basically, they see the stairs. That's the end of the episode. They should end the episode with the raft blowing up. That was like that was the most climactic. But basically, the hatch is revealed. There's stairs, and they end the season with that. The flashbacks are on the plane, so you're just seeing everyone's stories up until the final blow. It's a good finale. This was a good finale because it was just like, oh shit, the raft is blown up.
There's a lot going on.
Everyone's in the water. All the strong characters are in the water. The hatch is open. Again, the hatch didn't do much for me in season 1, but season 2, I guess it gets whatever. Interesting though, Jack, Kate, Locke, Hurley. Oh no, I thought that's what the ones that the others wanted. No, I guess not. I guess it has something to do. Yeah, and then Walt being captured. That was interesting. Which backstory, if you're someone that wants to know backstory on this, they actually captured Walt because he was getting too old. He was growing too fast. They basically said he was getting too tall, so they had to write the actor playing Walt. So they had to write him off, which is crazy. I mean, we see him in flashbacks, but they said he was like too tall or growing too fast or something, which is weird because like kids grow on an island. He could have grown on the island, like.
But the show, the amount of days, they're counting the days. Like how many days you've been on the island? 44 days, 69 days, you know.
Oh, right. And filming was
But
longer.
you're watching it over 6 months.
He's just like a big kid.
It's kind of like the age that you grow a lot. I would change it more to like, because of the island, he's aging faster.
Okay, that's the M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old. The one I watched on the plane from the Maldives, that's basically what it is. They age in like within an hour.
Or something on the beach.
She got pregnant and then she had the baby in like 2 hours.
So yeah, I would go more with that and just keep Walt around because his character is good.
I love that. Did you even know that plot? That was so funny. That's so funny that you knew that. That was a good idea to do. Yeah, that would make sense. Everyone just starts aging quickly.
No, just him, because he
just
was
the
a
kid.
special character anyway, because they all say like he's unique, he's special, he can see certain things, appear in certain places.
Which kind of foreshadows the show that J.J. Abrams did after this, which is Heroes. So maybe that was part of it, because I don't know the premise. I just know they're special. They're like special superheroes or something, which we should watch that show too. I don't know. Like I said, I have to really like an actor on the show to get into the show. So
Luckily for me, this one here likes me.
we have Once Upon a Time with You next as Jafar. I did actually have you cosplay as Jafar before we even knew that. So it's kind of all the world intertwining. But until the next obsession, whoever that may be, you never can predict, because I can't even predict who my next fascination will be.
Which is true. I see it firsthand.
For now, it's Naveen Andrews, and that's what's gonna be for a minute. Just until we watch his whole like filmography, and then it'll be something next. So I don't know. But thank you for being my special guest here today. Any closing thoughts on Lost? Do you like this obsession, this phase that I'm in right now?
I never imagined we'll be watching Lost together.
Really?
Yes.
Do you like it?
One of my favorite shows. And yeah, because I mean, think about it. We went from watching Desperate Housewives to Lost.
You were a good sport with
That's
that one.
two different worlds altogether. And I feel that's karma, you know. I gave and gave. We watched.
You
that
like
show.
Desperate Housewives.
No, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't otherwise. But I'm saying what I'm getting in return is
The
now
Lost.
we're watching Lost.
Do you like watching it better this time around with me?
Of course. I told you back then I was like in college with bad internet trying to watch it on my computer with tons of commercials and things going in and out.
Now it's commercial free. That's adult life right here. But yes, this was very exciting. Thank you for being my special guest. Thank you for putting up with all my phases and obsessions. I got all these cardboard cutouts one day and I had to be like, no, it's for a podcast. Like I always try and rationalize. But I think now you're just used to it. I don't know. And this is Hurley on the back of my phone case. So with the numbers, actually, which is why I love that episode so much. If you guys want to see more of my husband, especially his philosophy, he has a Channel Water. Check it out. I miss that. I feel like you should do a Channel Water one for old time's sake.
I'll do more. It's just, you know, the channel follows my life. And
Maybe the birth of our baby. You could do a whole evolution of life
the book
in
I'm
water.
working on,
Oh, yeah.
all
When's that coming
connected.
out?
it's all connected.
When's the book coming out?
When I finish painting the nursery.
We could do a whole ASMR, book tapping, page turning.
Yeah, I think that's where I'll publish the book, is on the ASMR channel.
You're going to publish it on the channel? What does that mean?
Do like an audiobook.
Oh. Just gonna like, okay, got it. Yes, I love my husband so much. He puts up with so much. Thank you so much. I love Lost, and I love you. I don't know what I love more, Lost or you.
I hope it's me.
I would sacrifice watching the show for you if someone's like you, but I can't finish it, and that's why I need to watch spoilers because it's like, oh, someone had me choose between you or the show.
She'll read the spoilers quickly and be like, okay, I give up the show.
I keep you forever. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Oh my God,
This is what you always wanted to see. Hurley and Saeed.
Yes, lovers
the
together
romance.
forever. Please check out my ASMR channel. We did a whole ASMR cosplay as this a little fan fiction
That
of
was
Saeed and
funny.
Hurley. It was interesting. We'll see. I'll edit it tonight. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And if you were a cast member on Lost, even if you were Scott, I would love to have you on the podcast. I love the show, and I would love to know extras because we look at the extras all the time. I would love to know extras' point of views. They seem to have different extras all the time. Were you a Hawaii local? Were you dating one of the actors? Like, I would love to know that too. That's the podcast we're at. We only have 10 more episodes left, so we'll get into season 2 next week.
Yeah, you better show up because otherwise I have to keep playing you.
Yeah, just cosplay each time. All right, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. What's the end of Lost? It's like, oh, that was good.